Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into heartbeat, human connections,
Oh, cool.
specifically a segment where they share these amazing stories about kindness from around the world.
Nice.
And what's interesting is they actually present these as a top 10 countdown.
Oh, wow. So it's like,
So you're kind of waiting to see what the #1 act of kindness is.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Mm.
So why don't we just jump right in? We'll start with number 10 and kind of work our way towards #1.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so number 10 takes us to Italy,
Okay.
to a busy train station. So you can imagine everyone's rushing around trying to get to where they need to go.
Right.
And in the midst of all of this, a group of strangers notice a visually impaired man who's having trouble navigating the station.
Oh, wow.
And instead of just walking by, they stop and help him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they make sure he gets to where he needs to go safely.
What a great example of just like everyday kindness.
Right, it's not this big grand gesture.
Yeah.
It's just people noticing that someone needs a little help and stepping in.
Right. And you never know what kind of impact that can have on someone's day.
Exactly. And that's something we see throughout all these stories. So let's move on to number 9.
Okay.
This one takes us to Japan.
Right.
And it involves a young girl who decides to express her gratitude to her garbage collector.
Aw, that's really sweet.
I know, right? It's not something you usually think about.
Not really.
But she left him a thank you note and a small gift.
That's great.
And it really touched him. It's a job that often goes unnoticed.
Absolutely. People don't always think about the essential workers who keep things running smoothly.
Right, and this little girl's gesture really highlighted that.
And you know what's even more amazing is that her act actually inspired others in the community to do the same thing.
Oh, wow. So it kind of started a chain reaction of kindness.
Exactly. It just goes to show you how one small act can have a ripple effect.
That's awesome. All right, let's move on to number 8.
Okay, what do we have next?
This story takes us to a bookstore in New York City.
Oh, cool. I love bookstores.
Me too. And this bookstore owner came up with this really cool idea. They started a pay-it-forward book program.
What is that? I've never heard of that.
So basically, customers can purchase books for others who might not be able to afford them.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, it's a really great way to share the joy of reading and to make sure everyone has access to books.
It's like this really thoughtful combination of generosity and a love for literature.
Exactly.
Mm.
It creates this beautiful cycle where one person's kindness allows another person to discover the world of books.
I love that. And it also kind of builds a sense of community within the bookstore itself.
Right. It connects people through this shared love of reading.
That's really special.
Yeah.
All right, I'm excited to hear about number 7.
So number 7 takes us to Canada.
Okay.
And it's a story about a teenager who organized a virtual concert for nursing home residents.
Ah, during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. He recognized that a lot of seniors were feeling isolated and lonely, especially during that time.
That's so thoughtful of him.
I know, right? And he used his musical talents to bring them some joy and comfort.
Music is such a powerful way to connect with people.
It really is. And it's amazing how he used technology to bridge that gap and reach those who are feeling isolated.
And it sounds like it really resonated with people because other schools started doing the same thing.
They did. It became this whole movement of virtual concerts connecting different generations through music.
That's fantastic. Okay, what's next?
Number 6 takes us to South Africa.
All right.
And this one is about a farmer who made a really incredible decision. He donated his entire harvest of vegetables to local food banks.
Wow, that's huge.
I know, it's an amazing act of generosity,
Yeah.
especially because he could have sold his crops and made a profit.
Yeah, but he chose to put the needs of his community first.
He did, and it made a real difference in the lives of families who are struggling with food insecurity.
That's a powerful testament to the impact we can have when we choose to share what we have with those who need it most.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that sometimes the most meaningful acts of kindness involve personal sacrifice.
I agree. All right, what's next on our kindness countdown?
Okay, number 5 takes us to Brazil.
Okay.
And this one involves a school teacher who started a really heartwarming project. She had her students write letters to elderly people who were living alone.
Oh, that's such a nice idea.
It's a simple way to combat loneliness and to bridge the gap between generations.
Yeah, it's like a modern-day pen pal program with a really meaningful purpose.
Exactly. And the segment actually shared a quote from one of the recipients who said, "Reading these letters brightens my day."
Oh, wow. That's so touching.
It really is. It shows how much those letters meant to them and how something as simple as a handwritten note can make someone feel seen and cared for.
That's so true. And it's amazing how this initiative spread beyond the initial school, inspiring others to join in and create this network of intergenerational connections.
It really shows how a small act of kindness can create a ripple effect.
Absolutely. All right, I'm ready for number 4.
Okay, this one brings us to a children's hospital in the UK during the holiday season.
Oh, that's a tough time to be in the hospital.
It is, and an anonymous donor recognized that and decided to do something really special. Um, they paid for all the Christmas gifts for the children in the hospital.
Wow, that's incredible.
It brought so much joy to the kids and their families and even the hospital staff.
That's such a beautiful example of someone recognizing a need and stepping up to meet it.
It really is. And it shows that even anonymous acts of kindness can have a huge impact.
It's a reminder that there's always room for hope and kindness, even in the midst of difficult circumstances.
Exactly. Okay, so moving on to number 3.
Okay.
This one takes us to India, where a group of teenagers decided to tackle a problem in their community,
Yeah.
a polluted beach.
Oh, wow, that's a big undertaking.
It is. But they didn't just organize a simple cleanup. They got creative and turned it into a fun event for everyone.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they had music and games and
So
activities.
they made it like a community celebration?
Exactly. They found a way to make it engaging and fun, which is really smart because it gets more people involved.
Absolutely. And it probably also helps to raise awareness about the importance of environmental protection.
Right. It's a great example of how creativity can be used to mobilize people around a cause.
I agree. All right, what's next?
All right, number 2 brings us to Australia.
Okay.
And this one is about an abandoned dog who not only found a loving home,
Oh, that's a great.
but also became the inspiration for a community fund to help other animals in need.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is this dog's journey really touched people's hearts, and they wanted to make sure that other animals wouldn't have to go through the same thing.
It's incredible how one animal's story can inspire so much compassion and action.
It really is. It shows the power of the human-animal bond and the ripple effects of kindness.
Absolutely. All right, we've finally reached number 1.
I know, I'm excited to hear this one.
Me too. What is it?
This story takes us to the United States,
Okay.
and it's about a young boy who decided to donate his hair to children with cancer.
Oh, wow, that's so selfless.
It is, and his story went viral. I mean, it captured the hearts of people all over the world.
I can see why it's such a powerful gesture, especially coming from someone so young.
Right. He had so much to give, and he chose to give to others who are facing a much bigger challenge.
It's a reminder that even kids can make a huge difference in the world.
Absolutely. And his act inspired so many others to donate their hair, too.
Wow. So it really created a global movement of kindness.
It did. It's amazing how one person's act can have such a far-reaching impact.
It really is, and it's a beautiful example of how kindness can transcend borders and connect us all.
It seems like Heartbeat, Human Connections, is doing more than just showcasing these stories, though.
What do you mean?
Well, they're also actively encouraging viewers to get involved in spreading kindness themselves.
Well, that's interesting. How are they doing that?
They've been highlighting this trending movement called #KindnessChain.
Hashtag kindness chain.
Yeah, it's where people perform an act of kindness and then challenge 3 friends to do the same.
Oh, I like that it's like a chain reaction of good deeds.
Exactly. It's a great way to turn inspiration into action and make kindness a part of our daily lives.
And it's something that anyone can participate in, no matter how big or small their platform is.
Right. It's all about those individual acts that add up to create a more compassionate world.
I love that idea.
Heartbeat is also sharing viewer-submitted stories, which is really cool.
Oh, that's a great way to get the audience involved.
Yeah, and one that stood out to me was the story of the kindness wall.
The kindness wall. I've never heard of that.
It's this really cool idea where there's a designated wall in a public space, like a park or a community center,
Okay.
and people can post anonymous notes of gratitude or support or encouragement.
Oh, wow. So it's like a physical space for kindness.
Exactly. It's a way to brighten someone's day or just let them know that their community cares.
That's a really sweet idea. I love that.
Me too. It's like a tangible reminder of the power of human connection.
It's amazing how something as simple as a wall can become a symbol of hope and positivity.
It really is, and it shows how we can create spaces for kindness to flourish both online and in our physical communities.
I agree.
It's pretty incredible to see how these acts of kindness are happening all over the world.
It is, and it's really inspiring to see how people are finding creative ways to make a difference.
I think Heartbeat, Human Connections, is doing a great job of highlighting the diverse ways in which kindness manifests.
Yeah, they're really showcasing the universal nature of kindness and how it transcends cultural boundaries and geographical locations.
And they're not just telling these stories. They're inspiring people to take action and spread kindness in their own lives.
Exactly. They're building a community around the idea that we can all make the world a kinder, more compassionate place.
And I think that's a really beautiful message to leave people with.
I agree. Yeah, it really is a cool idea that kindness walls like a little beacon of hope.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of how Heartbeat is creating this virtual space for kindness, too.
Right.
And the segment does such a great job of showing all these different ways kindness shows up all over the world.
It really does, right? It's not limited to any one culture or any one place.
Yeah, it's a very human thing, you know?
Yeah, and Heartbeat is pulling stories from everywhere.
Yeah, and all these stories are so different.
Mm-hmm.
But they all come back to that same idea of human connection.
They do, right?
Whether it's those strangers helping the man in the train station or that community coming together for the dog, it all comes back to wanting to connect and make a difference for somebody else.
It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be some huge dramatic thing either.
Right.
Like even that little girl thanking the garbage collector.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good example.
It was a little thing.
But it made a difference.
It really did.
And it's so important to recognize those people.
Yeah.
Who we don't always think about.
Yeah, we kind of take them for granted.
It's easy to do.
But they're so essential. You know?
They really are.
And that little act reminded everyone of that.
It did. And then other people started thanking their garbage collectors, too. It's like, it's contagious, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I think another story that really showed that was the teenager organizing that virtual concert.
Oh, yeah.
For the nursing home.
That was awesome.
You know, he was so young, but he saw that these people were lonely.
Especially during COVID. You know, a lot of those folks couldn't see anyone.
Right.
And he was like, I'm going to use my music to help.
Because
and it really shows you how powerful music can be, you know?
Yeah, it really does.
It brings people together even when they can't physically be together.
Right. And then other people started organizing those virtual concerts too.
Yeah, it turned into a whole movement.
It really did.
So cool.
And then you have that farmer in South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Donating all those vegetables.
That was just incredible.
I know, right?
He could have made a lot of money.
He could have.
But he was like, nope, my community needs this more.
He did.
It's like true generosity. You know?
Yeah, giving up something that means a lot to you.
Exactly.
And it helps so many people. So many families.
It makes you think about your own priorities, you know?
It does.
Like, are we doing enough to help others?
Yeah, are we focused on the right things?
Yeah.
That's a good question to ask ourselves.
I think so.
And all these stories show how different kindness can look.
Yeah, too, right?
It's not just one thing.
No.
It could be giving something away like the farmer, or it can be doing something like that teenager.
Or saying something, like writing those letters in Brazil.
Exactly.
Kindness comes in so many forms.
It does, and it doesn't matter how old you are.
Right.
We saw kids being kind.
Yep.
Teenagers, adults, older people.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's not something you grow out of.
It's not.
You can be kind at any age.
Yeah, and it's not passive either.
Right.
It's not just something that happens.
You have to make an effort.
Yeah.
To be kind.
Put in the work.
Yeah, to really see the people around you and their needs.
Yeah.
And to be willing to do something about it.
And even when it's hard.
Yes, even when it's inconvenient.
Yes, exactly.
Because we're all connected.
We are.
And even small things can make a difference.
They can.
And it makes you feel good, too.
Yeah, you know, that's something I've noticed.
Me too.
When I do something nice for someone, I feel good, too.
Like you're making a difference.
Yeah.
It's not just about the other person.
It's
about you, too.
It is.
It's like everybody wins.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's like you get this boost, and you want to do more.
Right. It makes you want to keep spreading that kindness.
Exactly. And that's what I love about Heartbeat. Human connections.
What do you mean?
It's not just showing us these heartwarming stories, you know?
Right.
It's like they're saying, hey, this is happening all around us.
Let's do more of it.
Let's all get involved.
And they're doing a good job of showing us how.
Yeah, with that hashtag kindness chain.
Oh, yeah.
Such a simple idea.
But effective.
Yeah.
It's like we're all playing this big game of kindness tag.
I like that.
And you don't need a huge platform to participate.
You don't.
You can just do something nice for somebody and then ask 3 friends to do the same.
And then it just keeps going.
Exactly. It spreads like wildfire.
Creating all this positivity.
And it's accessible to everyone.
It really is.
You don't need to be famous or anything.
Nope.
Just be kind.
Exactly. And the kindness wall is another great example of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're saying, look, kindness is already happening everywhere.
In all these little ways.
Yeah.
Let's just keep building on it.
Exactly.
I like that.
And I think that's a really powerful message for people to take away from this.
I do too.
It's not about waiting for some big opportunity to be kind.
Right.
It's about those everyday moments,
Yeah. Just being mindful of the people around you
and how you can make their day a little bit brighter.
and being open to those opportunities.
Yes, because they're everywhere.
They are.
So what act of kindness can you commit to today?
What small thing can you do to make someone's day a little bit better?
It doesn't have to be anything huge.
It really doesn't. Just a little something.
To spread a little bit of joy.
And if you're feeling inspired and want to connect with other people who are all about kindness.
Be sure to check out Heartbeat, Human Connections, on social media.
Yeah, they're at AI for the people.
It's a great way to stay connected to this movement.
And to keep getting those daily doses of inspiration.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us on this journey.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And remember,
Kindness matters.
it really does.
It makes a difference.
So let's all go out there and spread a little bit of kindness today.
And every day.